Now we shall move on to discuss the major crops. What are the major crops in India? Just now we were discussing about the major crop seasons in India. In that we have already discussed that in India we have three major crop seasons: Kharif, Rabi and Zaid. So according to the climatic conditions which are suitable, only that particular crops can be grown during a particular crop period. So now let us see here the major crops. We can understand very simply that the crops which come under the major crops in India are rice, wheat, barley, millets, pulses, sugarcane, tea, etc. Like this we have various variety of crops which are grown in India. Again further we can classify the crops into food crops, cereal crops, then the other non-food crops, commercial food crops, non-commercial food crops. Like this we have various bifurcations. Let us first learn about rice. Rice being a major crop for most of the people in India, because nearly 70 to 75% of the Indians have this as a common food in their daily menu. That's why this is called cereals of the crop or cereal crop, as it is consumed by most of the people. And the conditions which are required for this are the rainfall should be nearly more than 100 centimeters annually. Means it requires huge amount of water and also high humid temperature. The temperature also should be greater than 25 degrees. Then only this rice production is possible in the lands of India. Fortunately, India receives heavy amount of rainfalls as well as heavy high temperatures, which makes the temperature also to be highly humid. That is the reason why India is able to produce huge amount of rice production from the crop of paddy. India stands second in the production of rice only after China. And later, when we move on to the next crop, what we have is wheat. For the production of wheat also, we are producing in a large number, and wheat stands in the second place in the major crops list of cereals which are grown in India. In the second place, because it doesn't require this much amount of rainfall what is required for rice. It requires an average rainfall of 50 to 75 centimeters annually. And it is temperature can be less than or equal to 20 to 25 degrees of Celsius would also be favorable conditions for the production of wheat. So rice is produced in the states of northern and southern states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka and Punjab, Haryana states, wherein wheat is also produced in northern states as well as in the southern states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and all the states. Only very few states in south do not produce wheat, but still we are producing in large amount of wheat, because wheat is also consumed as a staple food in many parts of North India and also in some parts of South India. And moving on to the third major crop which is produced in India is millets. Millets are being produced in very huge amount in India. They are called as coarse grains. They are called as coarse grains. These coarse grains are produced in large number in India in order to fulfill the basic requirements for India. What are the grains that are coming under the millets? Jowar, Bajra and Ragi come under the category of these coarse grains. These coarse grains are really very rich in the production they have iron plus calcium, which is preferred for almost all categories of people. So that makes them to get more requirement and alignment their attitude of food towards the millets. So we need rice because it is a staple food for most of the people in South India and few places in North India. Wheat, staple food in North India, few parts in South India. Millets, coarse grains, jowar, bajra, ragi, all common, which have huge amounts of iron and calcium present in their grains. So this is required for all people to develop their bones, to develop their capacity, to build their strength and all. So they prefer to have millets in their day-to-day food habits. And next we have the major crop is maize. Maize is the only crop which is used as a food and the fodder crop in India. Maize is the only best crop which requires the temperature averaging from 21 to 27 degrees Celsius, and most of the time it doesn't depend on water supply at all. It is rain fed. It depends only on the rains. So even in production of maize also, India is not ranking below than any other country. We are able to produce maize also in large amount as per our requirement. And then moving on to the last but not the least, pulses. Pulses are also called as the leguminous trees or leguminous crops, because in pulses we have various kind of urads, dal, then we have moong, piyas, all the various kinds of dals, various kind of murags, blue dal, black dal, all these Bengal gram, all these grams also come under the pulses. These pulses are especially grown on the lands in order to restore and build the fertility of the lands. How is it possible to do cultivation and rebuild the infertility of the land? How can we increase the fertility of the land? That is possible only by pulses crops, because that is the reason why it is also known as leguminous crop. In this pulses, in the seeds they have a capacity to restore nitrogen back to ground. So in the field crop, when you are using the pulses crop, it restores the nitrogen which is in the air to get back into the land, and then when nitrogen is going into deeper into the lands, the land becomes more and more fertile and gives more and more output for it. So once you put a pulse crop there, then automatically the fertility of the soil will increase. That is the extraordinary benefit what you are getting with the production and with the larger kind of profits what you get when you use the production of pulses. That is the reason why it is known as leguminous crop. So these are the major crops in India what are grown. First one is rice. The rice crop is the most favorite cereal crop in India. For 70% of the Indians consume rice as their basic staple food. It requires rainfall of more than 100 centimeters per annum, and it requires high humid temperatures, more than 25 degrees. Wheat stands second in the major crops of India in the cereals. 50 to 75 centimeters is the average rainfall required for the having wheat crop to be grown, and temperatures may be varying from 20 to 25 degrees. The rice and the wheat are the larger crops which are produced in India in many states of North and South India. Millets are coming under the category of the coarse grains, where we have the production of jowar, bajra and ragi. Here, jowar, bajra and ragi are highly rich in production of iron and calcium, which is very, very much important and required for all the human bodies to develop and to have stable strength and stamina in their bodies. That's why most of the Indians would like to prefer, along with their regular cereal crops, would like to add these coarse grains in their regular menu. And now moving on to the maize. Maize is the only crop in India which is considered as a food as well as the fodder crop. For this, it is mostly rain fed, it doesn't require much water, and also temperatures from 21 to 27 degrees is an average temperature in the entire Indian subcontinent. And moving on to the last but not the least, the pulses. The pulses are also known as leguminous crops because they have a special feature. But before knowing about the special feature, it has the urad dal, tur dal, moongs, piyas all come under the category of the pulses. They have a special feature which makes them to bring the nitrogen which is present in the air to get into the deeper parts of the land. When nitrogen is getting back added to the lands, it would automatically boost up the fertility levels of the land. That is the specialty of the pulses. So pulses are occasionally put in the crops to increase the fertility of the land, and then which will boost up the capacity to bring output for the land. That is the reason why pulses are most often widely brought up and used in our country. And next, that is the reason why it is also known as leguminous crop. These are the major crops in regards to the food items what we have in India.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.